What is the best way for you to learn? This has been considered and debated for decades. There is a whole line of thinking that says that some of us are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are kinesthetic learners, some learn best by reading or writing. And this has been carried out in schools all over the country. It is even a part of the testing for licensing for many teachers. So many of us have been exposed to this again and again. We first came across this idea about 40 years ago, and intuitively it seemed to make sense. Some people certainly had more of an inclination to speak with visual language, some with auditory language, some with feeling language. A number of things sort of lined up and made sense that this must be the case. Over the years, this has been researched extensively. It turns out that it's just not the case. But many of us have come away from that with that sense of, oh, I have to learn this particular way. I have to learn more visually, or I have to learn more auditorily or kinesthetically. That, we believe, has become a problem for a lot of people because now they've put themselves in that box, whatever it is that they have concluded that they are or been told that they are. As more and more of the evidence has come in and we've had more direct hands-on experience with this, probably about 30 years ago, we gave up on that particular notion. Yes, people may have a preference. It doesn't really turn out that that is hard and fast. It certainly changes depending on the subject, depending on the circumstances, and does not really lend to becoming the best learners that we can be. This has just become another way to limit our learning. So what is best? If we go back to our basic proposition that all brains, or most brains, are capable of learning to a great extent, that what one brain can do, another can do, that our hardware is pretty similar, and we have yet to reach the limits of what any given brain can do. If one brain can learn a particular way, then it should be that all can, and that all those modes and each of those modes should be available to each and every one of us. We should each be able to become very good at learning in all of these modes. We should each be able to be quite good at visual, kinesthetic, auditory learning, learning by reading, learning by writing, learning through abstract teaching, learning through hands-on learning. Those should all be available to all of us. If that's the case, how do we get to this? How do we get to be the best learner that we can be? We believe that the most important thing is the state that we're in when we're learning. What is our attitude? What is our outlook? What is our belief about our capability and our relationship to the subject? We've spent a lot of time in other podcasts working to hone beliefs, working to hone our attitudes, and you certainly can review those and get a much more extensive look into those and the nuts and bolts about how to bring that into your experience. For our purposes here today, just to look at one way to do this, if you think about a time where learning was really easy, really joyful, really successful, whatever that was, remember that time. Remember what the experience was like. Step into that and notice what is happening with each of your senses. How are you seeing things, hearing things, feeling things? What is it like for you to take in information or experience or understand things the way you were at that time. As you're having this experience, just recognize this is yours. This is your ability. This is your system functioning optimally. And if you can do it in this particular circumstance, certainly you can do it elsewhere. In that state, bring that to what you want to be learning right now, what you want to be learning today. And notice how that changes your experience. Notice how that changes your perception, the way that experience comes into you, the way that you grasp what's going on, the connections that you make. As you notice how this affects your learning, your engagement, again, you want to just recognize, oh, I'm capable of this. This is mine. This is what I can do. If I can do it here and I did it back there, where else can I do it? What if I could do this anywhere and everywhere? Another variation of this is if you know somebody that's a very good learner and you've seen them go about learning something, step into them. Just imagine what it's like to be them in all those ways that we've just talked about. What you're seeing, hearing, feeling, the way that understanding arises, the connections you're making, all of that. And then bring that with you. Because one powerful way to access what our capacity is to imagine it in somebody else. Because often that gives us permission. Because we go, well, I can't do that, but they can. And if they can, and if I can step into it, what's that like? And now I'm doing it. And that just got us right around that limitation, that belief. Or we can do it with somebody that we just imagine. What would it be like to be the world's smartest person? And step into them and have that experience. Again, this gets us around the limitations. This gives us the permission to come alive in these ways and activate those deeper capacities in ourselves. And once again, then bring this to any area of learning that you want. Let's say you want a specific area of learning. Let's say you're wanting to understand physics, or you're wanting to understand math, or you're wanting to understand how to learn quickly a sport. And you step into somebody that can do one of those things. You step into a great athlete and notice what that experience is like in your imagination. Again, this is just saying to your brain and your body, oh, now we have the permission. Now we can go beyond what we thought we were. And if we do this again and again and again, this activates, this brings forward our capacity. If education, or its root word, educare, means to draw forth or to draw out, this is a way to draw out of ourselves what has always been there latently. When we sometimes have that sense that I can be really good at this, I could be whatever, great at something, I want to be, I have the urge to be, all of that comes out of that deep recognition of this capacity in you. This is an easy, quick, and powerful way to engage that. The more often we do it, the better it's going to work, the quicker, the easier, and in time, the more it's just going to be who we are. Imagine yourself without limits, and then live this way. Live without the limits. Use this process to engage that tremendous capacity that you have. Be sure and check out the whole range of podcasts and all of the proven no-nonsense ways that we make available for you to enhance your learning in all areas and to remove the obstacles that have been there in the past. We are here at learntolearn.org simply and fully to support you at zero cost to you. Just the time and the effort that it takes for you to become all that you can be.